This is going to be a technical demo of Inlets as a hosted solution where we host the tunnel server for you and pass TLS termination down a TCP tunnel into your Kubernetes cluster so you can run Nginx, Traffic, Istio, you name it, or even a regular reverse proxy on your machine. There's a few tasks that we're going to go through. Let me pull them up for you. The first thing for the demo is we're going to start off by creating a kind cluster. It's a private cluster on our machine that's not got access to the internet. It runs inside Docker. Next, we're actually going to log in to Inlets Cloud, and this is done by email token. So I'm just going to take my inbox off the screen. I'm going to get the link, and we can go back. So there's the link. We're in. The next thing you can do is add this kind of ingress tunnel. So I'm going to call it kind. And the domain, I'm actually going to use the inlets domain. And I've got a tab open on the other window for Namecheap, which I'm using to manage this domain. So gatewayinlets.dev is what I'm going to have. If I want more domains to go through this tunnel, I can do that now. And we see it's pending because it's unverified. What we need to do is go create a text record at the apex, and that shows this domain is under our control. So I'm now doing that. The verification can take a few minutes, take a few seconds, and then we've got the actual GW subdomain. We need to go create something for that as well, and that is a CNAME. So GW, that's for OpenFaaS Gateway, by the way, and that's what I'm going to tunnel. Okay, so those are now both in place. The next thing that I will do is give it a few seconds, and what we'll get is our YAML that we can apply in the cluster. So the text record is in place. The CNAME is going to be there in a second, I reckon. So just to catch up, we've created the cluster, we logged in. Let's go put an Ingress controller on our local cluster. We're going to need that. That's how our Ingress records are going to get served. And then once Ingress Nginx is in place, we'll add Cert Manager because we want to do the full works, TLS, the whole lot. And now we've got our CNAME verified. Great. So back into the tunnel, we see it's disconnected. We need to copy the YAML down, and this just runs a normal inlets binary, but within a container, and you see the specific upstream here is to Nginx. Now, if you were running traffic, you see the namespace changes, the service name changes, but it's always port 80 and port 443. That's what we're working with. Okay, let's apply the tunnel, and we'll be able to get the logs. It's in the default namespace kind inlets client. So it's connected, great. And then in the UI, we should also see in a second the metrics for that will increment, and that will show that we've got a single client connected. Next thing, install OpenFaaS itself. So there's a couple of things we need to do. We need to create a couple of namespaces. This is all documented if you do like OpenFaaS and you want to try it out. And then I'm going to do a Helm install, and I've got a custom values YAML, and now the domain that we're using here is gateway.inlets.dev. I believe that's what it was. We need to put that in a couple of times. We need to make sure that our Ingress class is correct. Yeah, that's right. Connected one. Good. Let's get this in place. Now that creates an Ingress record in the chart, but you can obviously create your own Ingress records for whatever it is you want to expose. Perfect. That's in place. We can see the domain. And at this point, we should be able to curl into the plain text version of that. And we've got redirect telling us you should really be going to HTTPS. We should all be using HTTPS on the internet. Let's see if the cert is ready. Moment of truth. It's still not ready, and that's because I'm actually missing an object. I skipped a step. We actually need an issuer, and this is what Cert Manager will be using. Going for the production issuer. Now that may just make this run a little bit slower. Doing the steps out of order. But once this is in place, we'll be able to access our gateway on the internet. We'll have our tunnel configured here. And if we want to add a Grafana or an extra domain in, we can just put it here, create our CNAME, create our Ingress record, and we're good to go. So actually this is ready. Arcade is a tool that you can use to install Kubernetes software, Helm charts, etc. It's quite handy for that. So now what I'm going to do is put gateway.inlets.dev for the FAS CLI to do a login, and then we'll also deploy something. Store deploy. Let's do node info. This is a function that just tells you some information about the container that you're running in, and you should be able to open that in a browser. And there we go. This is fully terminated with Let's Encrypt with a proper certificate. I'm accessing the endpoint. As soon as I close that tunnel, this will no longer function. However, as soon as I deploy the tunnel again, it'll be working exactly as it was, and the certificate is going to stay inside my Kind cluster. This also would work on your laptop. So if you're going to a co-working space or into the office, return to the office, etc., it's all going to continue to work for you, and effectively the IP address will follow you around. Now, if you were using self-hosting some websites on your local machine or Raspberry Pi or something, this isn't just limited to Kubernetes, it will work with reverse proxies. So you can come and copy the configuration and even get a systemd unit file for the client. But what we've concentrated on here is a pure Kubernetes flow. We created a private Kubernetes cluster with no ingress, port forwarding, nothing at all, no VPNs. We then logged into Inlets Cloud, verified our domain, and added the CNAME. Next, we installed Ingress and Nginx and Cert Manager, basic building blocks. You're probably putting these on your clusters anyway in the cloud. We then installed a Helm chart that had Ingress built into it. So this isn't limited to OpenFAS in any way. Any Ingress you want to create will just work. We deployed the tunnel, we accessed it. We have a working application. I can share this with my colleagues, my friends, so could you. And so the thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete these tokens and DNS records, just in case there's anybody that's worried. But if you want to try this out, it's going to be free in beta. Get in touch with me directly or contact at openfas.com. We can get you set up and you can be trying this today. Going forward, we will also add a version of this where the TLS is terminated on the cloud. So you don't have to worry about setting up Ingress. We will do all of that and manage that for you. It will be like the normal HTTPS tunnel for Inlets. So if that is interesting, let us know as well. The initial region for this is in Europe, but we'll be adding a US region very soon. And then you'll also be able to host your own region using Inlets Uplink, which is the core technology for this. So thanks for watching the demo, getting all the way to the end, and just let us know if you want to give it a try.